One day, some kids are being beaten up by a boy who turns out to be Okumura Rin. He returns to his father in the castle, who tells him, "Your employers called and said they don't need someone like you." His brother enters and says to their father, "I've finished the preparations for the move, only the transfer remains." The castle workers join the conversation, saying, even though they're twins, they're completely different. The younger brother, Yukio, is athletic, a genius, and gets high grades, while the older brother is always causing trouble. Rin gets angry and shouts, "Shut up!" Suddenly, blue flames ignite in the fireplace. Later, Yukio takes Rin to treat his wounds and asks, "Will you be okay while I'm gone? I'm just worried. You get into fights daily and get fired from every job after a short time." Rin remembers the Shiratori gang, who he fought when they were killing birds. He asked them, "What are you doing?" Shiratori shot an arrow at him, but it missed. Shiratori laughed and said, "Shut up, I'm killing these filthy birds, so just watch in silence." Rin got angry and rushed to fight them. After that, he goes to his new job and sees the girl his father helped earlier chasing after her scarf. He grabs it, but suddenly, the scarf transforms into a strange creature and runs away. Rin chases it inside the shopping center and saves the girl before the boxes fall on her. At night, Yukio and their father wait for Rin, but he is very late. Yukio says, "I'll go look for him." He finds him at the swing and says, "Just as I expected. Let's go home." Rin responds, "How can I face them if I go back home? I got fired." Yukio asks, "What happened?" Rin replies, "I don't even know." Yukio gets frustrated and says, "Why are you so careless?" Rin replies, "How do I explain something I don't understand?" They return home, and Rin sees the girl he saved and her father standing with his own father. When Rin approaches them, the man says, "I came to thank you for saving Yui. She's a very careless child, so she gets into many accidents." Rin gets angry and says, "You're wrong. She's not careless. Someone is bothering her." The man asks, "Did you see them?" Rin replies, "I've never seen anything like it before." Yui tells her father, "The ones bothering me aren't human. They're evil spirits that enter my room every night." Her father says, "Yui has a wild imagination." Rin replies, "These aren't just her imagination. If her own father doesn't believe her, then who will she rely on?" They leave, and Fujimoto goes down to a strange basement, opens a safe, and finds a sword with a seal that has been broken. He thinks to himself, "Just as I expected." The next day, Rin wakes up and looks out the window, seeing strange creatures flying in the air. He leaves the house and finds the Shiratori gang standing there, provoking him. He approaches them, and Shiratori says, "I'm sorry about yesterday. So how much do you want us to pay to keep quiet about what happened, since we're going to the same school?" Rin replies, "I don't need your money, and I won't say anything." Shiratori says, "Be honest with yourself. You're so poor you can't even get into a good school. Take the money. Your brother Yukio worked hard and got in with a scholarship, right? That's really pathetic." Rin gets angry and punches him. Suddenly, Shiratori transforms into a demon, and his gang restrains Rin. Shiratori approaches him with a burning hot iron and says, "I'll make you enjoy my pain." He moves the iron closer and laughs. Suddenly, Rin screams, and blue flames ignite around him. The gang runs away, except for Shiratori, who says, "Those blue flames are proof of Satan's bloodline." He steps closer and says, "My name is Astaroth. Shall we go, young master? Lord Satan is waiting for you." Fujimoto appears, throws a charm, and attacks Astaroth, but then grabs him and expels him from Shiratori's body. He turns to Rin and asks, "Are you okay?" Rin responds, "What about him? Is he okay?" Fujimoto replies, "The demon left him. He should wake up soon. You can see them too, right? These creatures gather around dark places and evil humans. This world is made up of two dimensions that mirror each other. The first is our world, Asaya, and the second is the demon world, Gehenna. They are separate worlds and aren't supposed to interact, but they have a substance in this world that allows them to interact. This incident revealed your true nature, and many people will come looking for you to eliminate you." Rin gets anxious and asks, "Who? Demons? And who am I even?" Fujimoto replies, "You're not human. You are a demon born in a human body, and not just any demon. You are the son of Satan, the lord of demons." More demons appear before them, and his father grabs his hand and pulls him away. They both run, and his father destroys the demons appearing before them until they encounter strange creatures. Rin asks, "Are these stray dogs?" His father replies, "No, these are ghouls," meaning demons possessing dead bodies. He pulls out an anti-demon grenade, throws it at them to pass through, and enters a house. Meanwhile, the gang members ask Shiratori, "You don't remember anything that happened?" He replies, "Yeah." They ask, "Not even when you wanted to kill Okumura and his body caught fire?" He says, "No, I don't remember anything." Then he thinks to himself, "That's right, Okumura hit me," and gets angry, transforming into a demon again and heading off to find Rin. At the same time, Rin and his father enter the castle and secure secure the place. Fujimoto goes down to the basement, taking Rin with him, and says, "This sword is the demon-slaying blade called Kurakara. Your demonic power was sealed inside it. This sword is more important than your life, and you must never draw it. If you do, your demonic power will return, and you will no longer be human." Rin asks, "Is Yukio a demon like me?" His father replies, "You are different twins, and you alone inherited the demonic power." Meanwhile, Astaroth arrives, gets hit by a truck while crossing the road, but gets up, throws the driver against the wall, and takes the truck. At the same time, Rin and his father hear destruction above, so they go up. Astaroth bursts in with ghouls and says to Rin, "Let's return to Gehenna together." He reaches to grab Rin's leg, but one of the exorcists throws demon-burning water on him. Fujimoto grabs Rin and says, "Demon attacks weaken at dawn, so get out of here and hide. Take this phone. There's only one number in it. It belongs to my best friend. Call him as soon as you get out of here." He pushes him inside and locks the door, telling the exorcists, "Protect Rin." They all reveal the cursed seals on their hands and charge at the ghouls. Meanwhile, Rin tries to open the door again and recalls all his childhood memories. Astaroth defeats all the exorcists, transforms in rage, and just before attacking Fujimoto, Rin throws a fork, pinning him to the ground. Fujimoto chants a spell and expels him from Shiratori's body. He says, "Nagatomo, get the car ready. Izumi, Kyoto, place a seal on this boy." Rin says, "Wait, we need to treat their wounds first." Fujimoto replies, "Our priority is to hide him right now. You need to understand that you are a target for demons." Rin says, "I get it. If I leave now, will all this end? I'll go if that will make you feel better." His father grabs him, but Rin pushes him away, saying, "Let go of me. You're gonna throw me away either way. We have no real connection. We're just strangers. Be honest with me. Aren't you tired of pretending we're a family?" His father slaps him and says, "Dawn is near. Leave quickly." Suddenly, Fujimoto feels pain, falls to his knees, and says, "Stay back." The lamps shatter, and he transforms into a demon, saying, "At least I finally obtained this body." Rin steps closer and asks, "What's wrong?" The demon laughs and says, "At last, I get to meet you, my son," laughing as his body ignites with blue flames. Nagatomo tells Rin, Satan has possessed him. The demon replies, "Yes, I am Satan, Lord of Gehenna, and your true father." The exorcists rush at him, but Satan burns them with a glance, cuts off Fujimoto's fingers, floods the ground with blood, and says, "This is the gate to Gehenna. Let's return to our world." He steps toward Rin, and Rin catches fire. Satan laughs and says, "You must regain your demonic power." He pulls Rin toward the gate and says, "From today, you will be reborn as a demon." Fujimoto suddenly regains control of his body, grabs a knife, stabs himself, and says to Satan, "Rin is my son, and you will return him to me." He falls into the gate, and Satan yells, "You plan to end your life from the start?" Rin grabs the sword, and Nagatomo shouts, "No! Did you forget what your father said? If you draw it, you'll become a demon." But Rin ignores him, draws the sword, destroys the gate, and then sheathes it again. At his father's funeral, he opens the phone Fujimoto gave him and calls the number on it. He hears a phone ringing nearby, and a strange man appears, saying, "I represent the Japan branch of the Exorcist organization. My name is Mephistopheles, and I was a friend of your father." Rin asks, "Are you an exorcist too?" He replies, "Yes, and I know everything about you. Your existence in Asaya is a threat to humanity, so we will eliminate you in the name of the Vatican." Rin gets angry and says, "Aren't you supposed to protect me?" Mephisto replies, "I don't mix personal matters with public duty. You have three choices. Either we kill you, or you kill us and run, or you kill yourself." Rin says, "I want to be one of you. I don't care what you say or think. I am not Satan's son. I am Fujimoto Shiro's son." Mephisto asks, "What do you intend to do if you become an exorcist?" Rin replies, "I'll kill Satan." Mephisto is stunned, then bursts into laughter, saying, "Fine, but your choice won't be easy. One day, you will face your fate and regret not dying here." Rin says, "I don't care." Rin packs his belongings, bids farewell to the exorcists, and File's car arrives. Rin asks him, "Where are you taking me?" He replies, "To my academy." Yukio enters, and Rin is shocked that he's coming with them. When they arrive, Rin is stunned to find out that Yukio is the junior representative of the academy. Later, as he explores the academy, he is amazed by it. A strange dog appears in front of him, then suddenly runs away. Rin chases after it, and when they exit the academy, it transforms into Files, who says, "Sorry, but the president can't roam the academy freely." He tosses Rin a key and says, "With this key, you can attend your classes from any door." Then he shows him a door and says, "Try opening this door with the key. When Rin enters, Files leads him to the classroom, transforms into a dog, and enters the class. The teacher walks in, and Rin is shocked to see that his brother is their instructor. Files says he's a genius in the science of anti-demon medicine and the youngest person to obtain an exorcist certification. Rin stands up and calls out to Yukio, but Yukio replies, "You're in class right now. Sit down." Rin grabs him and demands, "Explain to me what's happening right now." Yukio asks the other students to leave for a moment. Once they're alone, Rin asks, "Did you know everything about our father's job?" Yukio replies, "Yes, you were the only one who didn't. Ever since I received my spirit wound from my demon brother when we were born, I've been able to see demons all the time." Rin gets angry and asks, "Why didn't you tell me anything until now?" He pushes Yukio, causing a vial of rotting blood to fall. Demons appear and Yukio kills them. Rin asks, "How did you see me all this time?" Yukio replies, "You are a demon and a great threat. That's a fact that won't change. I don't understand why you want to be an exorcist. Is this your way of expressing guilt over what happened to our father? You need to surrender to the organization or die." Rin asks, "Are you saying his death was my fault?" Yukio replies, "Yes, he was protecting you the whole time. He was always a target because he was the only person capable of hosting Satan in his body. He kept Satan sealed with his willpower alone, and as long as his will was strong, Satan couldn't possess him. You said something to him, didn't you?" Rin remembers when he told his father, "Don't say you're my father again." Yukio says, "If our father felt even a moment of weakness back then, it was because of you." He points his gun at Rin and says, "You killed our father." Rin says, "You have the right to call me an idiot, and I don't care about what you said, but don't ever point a gun at your brother." He gets angry, ignites in blue flames, and smashes the wall, shattering the lamps. Yukio points the gun at him again, and Rin says, "I didn't kill our father. If shooting me will make you feel better, then go ahead and do it." He draws his sword, transforms into a demon, and charges forward, but instead kills the giant demon behind Yukio. He then tells his brother, "Don't think I'm pathetic. I won't fight my brother. I didn't decide to become an exorcist for revenge or for any complicated reason. All I want is to be strong so no one else dies because of me." The next day, Yukio is assigned a demon exorcising mission, and Rin goes with him. On the way, Yukio stops at a store to buy something and tells Rin, "Don't move from here until I get back." But Rin ignores him and wanders off, finding a beautiful garden where he sees a girl holding flowers. When he touches the gate, a strange spark occurs, and the gate breaks. The girl starts crying and says, "Demon, the protection gate." Rin is shocked and thinks to himself, "It responded to me?" She becomes frightened and says, "Stay away." Rin replies, "Don't call me a demon. I'm not a demon," and steps closer. She backs away, crawling, so he asks, "You can't use your legs?" Meanwhile, Yukio asks the store owner, "How is young Miss Shiremi doing?" She replies, "Her leg condition is getting worse every day, and the doctor said there's no problem with her bones or muscles, which is why I called you." He asks, "Do you think a demon is involved?" She replies, "It started when her grandmother passed away." At the same time, Rin helps the girl with gardening. She says, "Sorry, you startled me. I didn't know you were a good person." She shakes his hand and says, "I'm Moriyama Shiremi." Suddenly, Yukio and Mrs. Moriyama enter. Yukio examines her leg and says, "This is definitely a spirit wound caused by a demon, but it hasn't possessed her because it doesn't possess humans. It possessed a plant in this garden." Mrs. Moriyama tells Shiremi, "Leave this garden." Shiremi says, "No, this is my grandmother's garden and I will never abandon it." Suddenly, she faints. They move her to her room, and Yukio says, "The demon is draining her energy through her leg. If we don't stop it now, her life will be in danger." Shiremi dreams of the day her grandmother told her, "Won't you help me cover the grapes?" Shiremi replied, "I'm going to search for the Amahara garden, where every kind of flower in the world exists." Her grandmother said, "Search for it somewhere close and return before nightfall." She then dreams of the day her grandmother died, standing at the spot where she passed away, saying, "The whole garden is withering and dying, and I don't know what to do." Suddenly, she hears the voice of a plant saying, "You must protect this garden. I can protect it, so give me your strength." Shiremi says, "I'll give you as much strength as you need." At night, Shiremi wakes up and goes out to care for the plants. Rin enters and says, "Your mother is worried." She replies, "She treats me harshly, and I've decided to protect my grandmother's garden." Rin starts breaking the flower pots, and she tries to stop him. He tells her, "Wake up! Why are you tying yourself to this place?" She cries and says, "If I had returned home earlier that day, if I had helped her cover the grapes instead of leaving, she wouldn't have died. Her death is my fault, and that's why I must protect this garden." Rin thinks to himself, she's just like me, clinging to the past and blaming herself. He grabs her by the collar and says, "Stop making your mother worry. Would your grandmother be happy to leave you here instead of searching for Amahara Garden?" She starts crying and says, I'm a fool." Yukio enters and tells Rin, "Our enemy is weak and we'll deal with it quickly." Suddenly, they hear the demon saying to Shiremi, "You broke your promise." It possesses Shiremi, transforming her and using her as a shield. Rin draws his sword, transforms, and attacks but tries to find an opening to strike the demon without harming Shiremi. Yukio aims his gun at the demon and it says, "You're bluffing, you wouldn't dare harm her." He replies, "Maybe I will, maybe I won't." He fires, causing the demon to release Shiremi, and Rin kills it. Yukio holds Shiremi and lowers her to the ground, and she is able to stand on her leg again. Rin asks Yukio, "How did you shoot her without killing her?" Yukio replies, "It was a nutrient bullet, it stings, but it's not lethal." The next day, Rin goes to the preparatory school, and Shiremi starts studying in the same class as him. Rin carelessly sleeps through all the lectures and gets terrible grades. Suguro gets annoyed and shows him his high scores. Rin says, "Impossible. How can someone like you get these grades?" They start arguing. After class, they go to practical training, where Rin and Suguro compete to see who can outrun the demon frog. When Rin gets ahead, he says, "You're so slow." Suguro replies, "In a real battle, the one who stands his ground wins." He jumps and kicks Rin while running, causing Rin to fall to the ground. The frog then jumps onto Suguro because he neglected his defense. Their instructor saves him and says, "What are you two doing? Do you want to die?" They start fighting again, punching each other. The instructor steps into the arena, pulls Rin aside, and says to Suguro, "I need to talk to you." He tells him, "You're smart, and all the teachers expect a lot from you, so you need to be rational and stay out of trouble." Suguro asks, "Why are you lecturing only me? We were both at fault, so why didn't you call Rin too?" The instructor replies, "Rin entered the academy with special permission from the president and has certain circumstances. It's best if you don't get too involved with him." Meanwhile, Suguro's friends tell Rin he wants to be an exorcist so he can fight Satan. Rin is shocked and thinks to himself, "He's just like me." Another student adds, "Yeah, he's working hard to rebuild our castle, which was destroyed on the Blue Night." Rin is confused and asks, "What is the Blue Night?" They are surprised that he doesn't know. One of them explains, "It happened 16 years ago when Satan slaughtered many of the world's most important exorcists. The castle's master said that 16 years ago, all the strongest exorcists suddenly started bleeding from every part of their bodies and died in blue flames. Those flames are Satan's mark. The castle's master was just a beginner back then, hiding and trembling in the corridor. We were trainees there, and we decided to train here so we could rebuild the castle." Suddenly, the instructor's phone rings, and he leaves in a hurry. Suguro says, "I thought the academy would be a scary place for people without determination." Rin replies, "What do you know about my determination?" Suguro says, "It's obvious from your behavior in class." He thinks to himself, "I bet he's a spoiled brat who bought his way in." He then says, "If you claim to have determination, prove it." Rin asks, "How?" Suguro points at the demon frog and says, "If you can touch that demon without it attacking you, you win." Jumpers read their opponent's thoughts through eye contact, fear, sadness, doubt. In other words, if you hesitate while looking into its eyes, that'll be your last mistake. "Of course, I'll do it too and I'll win." Rin says, "No way I'm doing that, you idiot. What if I mess up and die?" He thinks to himself, "I can't draw my sword in front of them if something happens." He then says to Suguro, "We have the same goal, and I can't risk my life doing something this stupid." Suguro replies, "In other words, you're scared." Rin says, "Say whatever you want, I don't care." Suguro gets frustrated and says, "Watch me, I'm going to do it." He steps into the arena and tells Rin, "I'm not weak-willed like you. I'm going to be a real exorcist and defeat Satan." Kamiki laughs at him and says, "What are you saying? You're not a child anymore." He suddenly feels doubt and weakness. The frog senses it and attacks him. Rin jumps in front of him, and the frog attacks Rin instead. Rin glares at it angrily and says, "Let go of me." The frog immediately releases him. Rin turns to Suguro and says, "What the hell are you doing? Are you really this stupid? Listen, I'm the one who will defeat Satan." Suguro stands up and says, "You idiot! How dare you steal my goal?" They start fighting again. Meanwhile, Yukio watches from a distance, aiming his gun at the frog while talking on the phone. He says, "Yeah, the situation has been resolved, and all the students are safe. Rin didn't draw the sword." He ends the call and thinks to himself, himself, Satan's power is far too great for you to control, Sir Files. At the same time, Files stands on a very high ledge. A figure appears and says, "It's been a long time, brother." Files replies, "How's Gehenna?" The figure says, "They're all furious because we didn't know Satan had an heir in Asaya." Files replies, "Tell our siblings that our little brother is under my care and everything is going smoothly." His brother asks, "When will you return to Gehenna?" Files replies, "Leave, don't keep our siblings waiting too long." After his brother leaves, Files thinks to himself, "I'm not going back. There's no better playground for a Hellraiser like me than this one." The next day, Yukio tells the students, "You will take the Exwire exam." Rin is surprised and asks, "What's that?" Shiremi tells him, "Exwire is the title given to an exorcist candidate." Yukio continues, "Once you become Exwires, you will train more in practical exercises, making the exam difficult. Next week, we will go through a 1-week training camp. Choose the field you want to work in." Rin picks up the paper and is confused by what's written. He asks, "What is a Meister?" Kanekamaru explains, "A Meister is an important title for exorcists. It's given to specialists such as knights, dragoon, tamer, aria, and doctor. If you master one of these, you will become an exorcist." Rin asks, "What will you choose?" Kanekamaru replies, "Shima and I will choose aria." Shima adds, "Suguro is overdoing it. He's choosing both aria and dragoon." Kanekamaru says, "Instructor Yukio is a Meister in both doctor and dragoon." Rin asks, "What is dragoon?" Suguro explains, "Dragoons are Meisters who fight with guns, while knights fight with swords." Rin says, "I'll choose knight." Meanwhile, Shiremi looks at Rin and thinks to herself, "Rin is enjoying his time with friends. I joined this school because of him and Yukio, but they won't always be around to take care of me." In the next class, the instructor draws a seal on the ground and says, "I will now summon a demon." Rin moves, and the instructor says, "Don't step on the magic circle or it will lose its effect." He continues, "We need blood and a suitable chant to summon any demon." He drops a few drops of his blood on the circle and recites a chant. A dog-like demon appears. Kanekamaru says, "That's Nibirius. I've never seen one in real life." The instructor says, "Very few people can summon demons and use them as familiars. Willpower is essential to subdue a demon, and this isn't something you can learn. It requires talent. Now, we will test whether you have that talent. Place a drop of your blood on the magic circle paper I gave you and recite the chant." Izumo Kamiki goes first and summons 2 foxes at once. The instructor says, "Well done." Shiremi tries next and summons a very small demon. The instructor says, "That looks like a green man spirit. Well done, Shiremi." Shiremi tells Kamiki, "I summoned a familiar too." Kamiki mockingly says, "That's cute. It looks like a bean." The instructor says, "It looks like we have many tamer candidates this year. Tamers fight by summoning demons. They are rare and highly valuable among exorcists, but demons do not obey those weaker than them. They attack summoners who lose confidence. As I told you, if the magic circle is broken, the contract will be severed and the summon will disappear. If you feel any danger, tear the paper." After class, they leave the room and Shiremi calls out to Kamiki, but she ignores her. Paku asks, "Aren't you going to reply?" Kamiki says, "She's annoying." Shiremi runs after her and calls her name. Kamiki gets frustrated and says, "Why are you following me? And why are you acting so smug just because you summoned a familiar?" Shiremi hesitates and says, "Please be my friend." Kamiki responds, "Fine, we're friends." She hands her bag to Shiremi and says, "Carry this. I get tired easily because I'm weak and friends help each other, right?" Shiremi gets excited and agrees. On the way, Paku asks Izumo, "Are you sure about this?" Kamiki replies, "It's fine as long as she's happy." Rin notices and thinks, "What's this?" Shiremi has become Izumo's servant. The next day, Kamiki gives Shiremi some papers and says, "Carry these for me." Later, she tells her, "Do my homework for the next class." Shiremi agrees, and Kamiki continues to take advantage of her. Rin gets annoyed and tells Yukio, Shiremi has become her servant. All the students arrive at Rin and Yukio's dormitory for the training camp. Kamiki hands her bag to Shiremi again. Paku tells Shiremi, "It's okay to say no if you don't want to carry it." Shiremi replies, "I don't mind helping my friend." They enter the dormitory and go through a long test. Afterward, Rin goes out to buy something. Shiremi, Kamiki, and Paku also leave, and Kamiki tells Shiremi, "Go buy me a drink," then walks away. Rin runs into her on his way and asks, "What are you doing?" She replies, "I need to buy juice for Kamiki." Rin grabs her and says, "Stop this. You're not her servant." Shiremi replies, "I'm not a servant. She's my friend, and I'm helping her." Rin says, "You're not helping her. Do you really believe this is what you're doing?" Shiremi replies, "I don't want to always stand behind someone and rely on their help. I want to be strong enough to help others. She's my first friend. You're strong and have friends, so you wouldn't understand." hand. She leaves and runs off. Rin chases after her. Meanwhile, Paku tells Kamiki, "You're treating Shiremi badly." Kamiki replies, "That's because I don't consider her a friend. Unlike you, you're my best friend." Suddenly, blood drips onto Paku's face. They look up and see a demon. They scream, and Rin hears them. He runs to check what's happening, and Shiremi follows. The monster attacks Paku, burning her body. Kamiki pulls out a summoning paper and calls her foxes, but she hesitates because of what Paku said. The fox senses her doubt and turns on her. Rin quickly punches it and says, "Tear the paper." He looks at the demon and thinks, "I can't draw my sword in front of her." Shiremi arrives and tells Rin, "Hold off the demon so I can treat Paku." Rin strikes the demon with his sword without drawing it. Kamiki says, "That's a spirit wound from a ghoul. She'll die within minutes." The demon grabs Rin's head and throws him. Shiremi remembers her first aid knowledge and says, "I wish I had aloe." Her familiar transforms into an aloe plant. Meanwhile, the demon strangles Rin and says, "Forgive me, but I received orders from a certain someone." Rin thinks to himself, "Satan, I can't fight it without my sword." Yukio appears and shoots the demon, causing it to flee. He tells Shiremi, "Your first aid was correct. Who knows what would have happened to her without you?" Kamiki is frustrated. Paku wakes up and tells Shiremi, "Thank you for saving me." Rin notices Kamiki crying. She says, "Don't look at me. I hate myself and don't want anyone to see me like this. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even help my only friend." Meanwhile, the demon returns to the one who gave it orders and says, "You failed? Are you laughing at me because I've become a dog for a demon?" The next day, Rin asks Yukio, "What kind of demon appeared yesterday?" Yukio replies, "We're investigating how it got in and where it is now. That was a high-level Nibirius." Rin asks, "You said the academy is protected by barriers and spells?" Yukio replies, "Yes, but some creatures can slip through occasionally, which is why we must always be prepared." Later, in class, the instructor says, "The deadly poem is recited to most demons, instantly killing them." She tells Kamiki, "Recite the lines I gave you as homework." Kamiki panics and forgets the words, so the instructor asks Suguro to say them instead. He recites them all perfectly, shocking everyone. After class, Shiremi tells him, "You're amazing." Suguro replies, "Be careful when facing me from now on." Rin says, "You're really smart," but Kamiki interjects, "Memorization isn't even a special skill." Suguro replies, "I don't want to hear that from someone who can't even remember 4 lines. Kamiki gets annoyed and says, "Arias have low defenses while reciting, so the rest of the team protects them. They're just weaklings." Suguro gets angry and says, "You know that we want to be Arias, and I can't stand you. Don't mock other people's dreams." She scoffs and says, "Like your dream of defeating Satan? Don't tell me not to laugh at such a joke." He asks, "Then why do you want to be an exorcist?" She remembers her childhood and replies, "I've never told anyone the reason before, and I'm not telling someone arrogant like you." Suguro grabs her by the collar, so she punches him. Yukio walks in and stops them. That night, as punishment, he places demon-like stones on their legs, which grow heavier over time. Rin tells Suguro, "This is all your fault." Yukio says, "This is called shared responsibility. There's another goal to this training camp besides studying, to strengthen the bond between you." Kamiki says, "I don't want to bond with them." Yukio tells them, "You need to adapt. An exorcist cannot fight alone. You must support each other and cover each other's weaknesses. Everyone fights in teams of at least 2. Fighting within the team leads to death in real battles. Think about that. I'm leaving for a 3-hour mission. Because of yesterday's incident, I'll lock all entrances and place strong barriers around the dormitory." He leaves. Suddenly, the lights go out, scaring everyone. Shima goes to open the door to check what's happening, but quickly shuts it again and says, "I must be really sleep-deprived." Suddenly, the demon breaks through the door and enters. Shiremi commands her familiar to attack. It shoots vines at the demon, splitting it in half and creating a barrier. Shiremi collapses and says, "I feel dizzy." Everyone starts coughing from the demon's toxic mist. Rin jumps over the barrier and runs, luring the demon away from them. However, only one half follows him. The other still tries to reach them. Suguro and Kanekamaru decide to recite the deadly poem. Meanwhile, Rin searches for a way to restore the lights to weaken the ghoul. Suddenly, the demon attacks him from behind and stops him. It lifts him and throws him away again before pouncing on him. Rin gets frustrated and ignites in blue flames. A mysterious figure appears and says, "So these are the flames I wanted to see. I figured you couldn't couldn't use your power in front of them, so I lured you here. At the same time, Shiremi loses consciousness, and the demon reaches them. Shima tries to hit it, while Suguro attempts to finish the chant. Rin asks the stranger, "How did you know all this? Were you the one behind yesterday's incident?" The figure replies, "Yes, now, show me your power." Rin leaps at the demon with his sword and burns it. The stranger escapes. Meanwhile, Kamiki tries to wake Shiremi. When she does, Shiremi asks her, "Are you okay? You weren't acting like yourself today." Kamiki thinks to herself, she's right, I wasn't acting like myself. She pulls out 2 summoning papers and calls her foxes. They say, "How dare you summon us again?" She angrily commands them, "Obey me." The demon strikes Shima and sends him flying before turning to Suguro. Kamiki orders the foxes to attack, but their attacks don't harm it. The demon grabs Suguro's head. Suddenly, the lights turn back on, weakening the demon. Suguro finishes the chant, and the demon dies. Yukio enters with the person who had been controlling the demon. Rin says to Yukio, "He's the enemy." Suddenly, someone strikes him from behind, sending him flying. It's Files, who says, "Well done." Shima asks, "What's going on here?" Files replies, "Did you really think I'd allow above-average demons to enter the academy?" He signals the other instructors to emerge from their hiding spots and tells the students, "Surprised? This training camp was also your XYR exam. The instructors were observing you, and I will announce your final grades after reviewing their reports." At sunset, Yukio calls over the person who controlled the demon in the exam. His name is Nigaz. Yukio tells him, "Your actions yesterday clearly deviated from the exam's arrangements. What was your goal? It's true that other instructors were monitoring the test, but taking complete freedom and putting a student in danger was a huge risk for an exam. On top of that, you forced Rin to use his power in front of his classmates. Only a limited number of instructors know the truth about him, and I'm sure Files told you that." Nigaz replies, "I acted according to Files' orders. He instructed me to try to kill him. Since you were chosen to be the one to restrain his power, I was chosen to be the trigger. This was to understand Rin's strength as much as possible." Yukio asks, "What do you mean?" Nigaz replies, "We examine demons to determine if they are suitable as weapons for the organization or not. You exorcists are geniuses who are always busy. At the very least, share the burden of monitoring the demon." Yukio says, "My brother has full control over his power and emotions, and you saw that for yourself. Don't underestimate him." Nigaz replies, "Relax, I wasn't actually going to kill him." That night, Rin is sleeping in his room when instructor Nigaz opens the door and enters, raising his weapon. However, he is shocked to find Rin is not in bed. Yukio appears behind him, pointing his gun, and says, "Didn't you say you wouldn't kill him?" Meanwhile, Rin wakes up in another room and finds Shiremi there. She tells him, "We couldn't wake you up, so Yukio moved you to another room and asked me to stay here." Then, they hear the sounds of battle. At the same time, Nigaz summons demons, but Yukio destroys them with his gun. Nigaz escapes to the rooftop, and Yukio follows, asking, "Why is killing my brother so important to you?" Nigaz summons multiple hands that grab Yukio's leg and pull him down, but he destroys them with a grenade. Nigaz has already drawn a magic circle on the ground and says, "This is my strongest Nibirius." He summons a massive demon that sends Yukio flying. Yukio tries to erase the magic circle, but the demon grabs him and hurls him away. Suddenly, Rin appears, setting the demon on fire and charging at Nigaz. However, Nigaz detonates an anti-demon bomb against him. Rin struggles to get up but attacks again, only for the demon to grab him. Yukio manages to erase the magic circle, causing the demon to vanish. Nigaz lowers his guard, and Rin places his sword against his neck. Yukio tells him, "If you try to summon another, you'll put your life in danger from the amount of blood you've lost." Rin asks Nigaz, "Who are you?" Nigaz replies, "I am one of the survivors of the Blue Night. Satan possessed my body for a few moments. I lost my eye, and my family who tried to help me. Satan used me to kill them with my own hands. I will never forgive Satan or his son." He attacks Rin, and Rin lets him land the blow. Then, Rin says, "Are you satisfied now? If this isn't enough for you, I'll let you attack me as much as you want. But please, don't drag innocent people into this." Nigaz steps closer and says, "As if you'll get away with this, there are many more like me, so be prepared." He turns and walks away. The next day in class, Files tells the students, "You all passed the XYR exam." They celebrate the occasion. Meanwhile, Files tells Yukio, "I apologize for Nigaz's actions. I didn't expect an instructor to be so emotionally driven." Yukio replies, "I hope so," and walks away. Files then makes a call and says, "Nigaz did what I ordered, but it seems the task was too much for him. Come to the academy." The person on the other end replies, "I can't enter because of the barriers you put up, brother." Files replies, replies, "Niggas will let you in." The next day, in Rin and Yukio's room, Yukio's phone rings and he is summoned for a mission. Yukio heads to the mission site and Rin follows him. They hear the sound of a raging demon and rush inside. A guard explains the situation to Yukio, saying, "Kuro, the guardian of the South Gate, has gone berserk." When they enter, they find a massive, furious cat. Yukio asks the South Gate guards what happened. One of them replies, "Kuro suddenly grew huge and started attacking us because we talked about Master Fujimoto's death. He must have heard us." Rin asks Yukio, "What does this have to do with our father's death?" Yukio replies, "That cat was my father's familiar. He used to watch over the local silk farmers, but over time, silk production declined and his home was destroyed. That's when he turned into a demon. The soldiers attack Kuro with guns and grenades, but they have no effect." Rin hears Kuro's voice in his head, saying, "You're all liars." Kuro lunges at the soldiers, but then backs away again. Yukio steps in and asks them, "Are you all right?" One of the soldiers asks Yukio, "Did Master Fujimoto ever tell you anything about Kuro?" Another soldier asks, "Weren't you part of the mission that day?" Rin asks, "What mission?" She explains, "It happened when Yukio was an ex-wire. Strange things were happening at a construction site in a certain village. The villagers thought it was cursed, so they called the exorcists, and everything turned into chaos. The person chosen to slay the cat that had become a demon was Paladin Fujimoto. But we were all surprised by his ability to calm the situation without spilling a single drop of blood." Yukio continues, "After that, my father named him Kuro and tamed him by forming a familiar contract with him so he could serve as the guardian of the school gate." One of the soldiers says, "Even so, he's still a demon, and he reverted to his true form after losing his master." Yukio replies, "My father expected this to happen and gave me this. I believe it's a grenade containing a drug that will kill Kuro." Yukio tells Rin, "Go back. I think this drug will affect you as well." Rin asks, "Are you going to kill him?" Yukio replies, "Yes, no exorcist can tame a demon of this level." Rin hears Kuro say, "Shiro will come back, and I won't die until he does." Rin stops Yukio and says, "Kuro is just feeling lonely." Yukio asks, "How do you know that?" Rin replies, "I think it's demon telepathy." Yukio says, "Even so, we can't let him wander around any longer." Rin says, "Let me try to reason with him before you kill him. I won't draw my sword. I'll use my head to fight instead of Satan's power." Rin approaches Kuro and says, "I'm Shiro's son, and Shiro is dead." Kuro becomes furious and attacks him. Rin headbutts him, knocking him to the ground. Rin asks, "You loved him, didn't you? That's why you felt sad and lonely. I'm just like you. Let's be friends." Yukio is shocked and remembers when their father once stood before Kuro and said, "You loved humans, didn't you? And because they forgot you, you felt sadness and loneliness. Let's be friends." Kuro starts crying and reverts to his normal cat form. Meanwhile, Files and his brother observe what is happening. Files asks, "What do you think of Rin?" His brother replies, "Even if you ask me, I can't judge him since he hasn't fully revealed himself yet." Files asks, "Don't you want to make him unleash his full power?" His brother replies, "Yes, but for now I'll study Japanese." He then leaves. The next day, they go on a trip to the beach and notice a commotion, so they go to see what's happening. An old man tells them, "That's a demon. When the sea turns black, a giant demon will appear and destroy the village." He takes them to a place where the demon's image has been drawn for 400 years and tells them, "The large stain in the sea is squid ink." Kamiki tells him, "But that's just a legend." He replies, "The sea turned black 6 months ago, and a man went to face the demon, but he never returned." At sunset, they meet a boy named Yuhi, who asks them, "Do you know where the pet shop is?" They take him there, and Shima tells Yuhi, "You have a terrible sense of direction." Yuhi replies, "My father had an even worse sense of direction." Kamiki asks him, "Is that something to brag about? You're always talking about your father." He responds, "Because he was a great father. He set sail 6 months ago and never returned, and he's still haunting me." Shima asks, "Haunting you with what?" Yuhi tells them, "He was hunting the sea demon, and I'm sure it got him. That's why I will defeat it." The next day, Kuro wakes up Rin and tells him, "The sea turned black again." Rin rushes out with Shima and Kamiki, saying, "Yuhi must have seen it too. I guess there's no problem if he doesn't do anything reckless." Kamiki says, "I'll go check on him." She finds him sitting and staring at the sea, waiting for the demon to appear. As the sun sets, she approaches him and asks, "Are you going to keep waiting?" He replies, "I'll wait forever." She tells him, "If it's really a demon, you won't be able to do anything alone." He snaps back, "Shut up. It's my father's enemy, so I will defeat it, no doubt." She sighs, "You're so stubborn. Just looking at you makes me embarrassed. You're a fool who doesn't know his own limits and is just putting himself in danger." He asks her, "Would you run away if you were about to get hurt?" "My father told me that a person person who's always negative has no confidence in themselves. Suddenly, the monster appears, and Yuhi runs toward it. Rin and Shima get closer to the squid, and Rin tells Shima, "Say the deadly chant quickly. If we leave it like this, it will come out of the sea and attack the village." Shima starts reciting the chant but suddenly asks Rin, "Do squids even have ears?" The squid attacks them, and they dodge the strike. Kuro transforms and attacks the squid before turning back into a cat and collapsing. Shima tells Rin, "Cats get sick when they eat raw squid." Kamiki tries to summon the foxes, but the squid sprays water on her, ruining the summoning papers. Suddenly, the squid gets struck in the head by a harpoon. Yuhi is on a boat and fired it. Rin quickly jumps into the water and reaches the boat, telling him, "This isn't something kids can handle." Yuhi replies, "Don't stand in my way. I will defeat it and avenge my father." He jumps into the water and fires another arrow at the squid. The squid gets enraged and drags him underwater. Rin dives in to save him, unsheathing his sword to put an end to this, but suddenly, he hears a man's voice calling out to Yuhi. Yuhi wakes up and says, "Dad," before rushing toward him. That night, Master Tsubaki tells Rin and the others, "Well done." They hear Yuhi's father telling him, "I couldn't find my way home, so I lived on an uninhabited island for 6 months. I drifted on a raft and was searching for Japan with him, and he's even worse than me at finding directions." Yuhi asks him, "Wasn't he your enemy?" His father tells him, "Yuhi, open your heart. That's what I realized when I was fighting him. His heart is as soft as his body, and it has completely changed." The next day at the amusement park, Yukio tells the students, "I'll divide you into pairs, Miwa and Takara, Yamada and Suguro, Kamiki and Shima, Okumura and Moriyama. We received reports of a ghost sighting and some damages here in the amusement park, so you will investigate it. You must find it today since the park is closed. If you find it, you must inform me or Professor Tsubaki by phone." Miwa asks, "How many ghosts are here?" Yukio replies, "There's one ghost, and it has taken the form of a young boy, but if we leave it, there's a risk it will become more aggressive." They search every corner of the amusement park until Rin hears a sound coming from one of the rides and sees the ghost of a child crying. Shiremi approaches him and asks, "Why are you crying?" Rin says, "How long are you going to keep crying?" Shiremi tells him, "Don't yell at him." The child hugs her and says, "I was sick, and my parents told me we would come here when I got better, but I died." Shiremi asks, "Do you feel lonely?" She places her hand on his head, but he pulls away and says, "I tricked you," then runs. They chase after him, but he disappears. They split up to look for him, and Shiremi sees him entering one of the rides. She follows him and finds herself surrounded by mirrors. The ghost appears in front of her, and she runs toward him but crashes into a mirror. At the same time, Rin calls to report that they found the ghost. Suddenly, behind him, someone takes his sword and says, "I am a Maimon, your older brother." A Maimon pulls the sword, making Rin transform into a demon. Then he closes it again, and Rin reverts. A Maimon says, "I see. This sword is connected to Gehenna, and the scabbard is the gate." Rin gets angry and asks, "What do you want to do?" A Maimon replies, "I've decided to pull it out." He then asks, "Your flames are in Gehenna, but your body is in Asaya, right?" Rin says, "I don't care," and attacks him. A Maimon jumps away. Rin asks, "What do you want?" A Maimon says, "I had some free time, so I came to play with you." He activates the electricity, and all the rides turn on. At the same time, Shiremi continues chasing the child. A Maimon jumps onto the roller coaster, and Rin stands on the tracks, so he jumps as a Maimon tries to hit him. He lands behind him and keeps attacking, saying, "I don't understand why my father and brother are obsessed with you." Rin gets furious and throws him, grabbing a metal bar and hurling it at him, but a Maimon dodges. Rin jumps at him and tries to strangle him, but a Maimon breaks the ground. The falling metal crashes onto the ride where Shiremi is, just as she catches the ghost. Rin hears her scream and sees the metal about to crush her, so he fires flames at it to push it away. The ghost tells Shiremi, "I was sick, so I could never play outside, and no one ever scolded me or took me out. I had so much fun today, so thank you, sister." Then he disappears. A Maimon steps on Rin and says, "You're boring. My brother forbade me from doing this, but I think I should break your sword." Suddenly, a mysterious figure appears, slashing at a Maimon with a sword, and says, "How did a big fish like you enter the academy? Did Mephisto let you in?" A Maimon says, "You're in my way." The figure replies, "You're the one in my way." He throws Rin's sword back and says, "I'll postpone this for another time," then leaves. The figure chases after him. Shiremi appears and tells Rin the child disappeared. Yukio arrives, and Shiremi tells him, "Rin is injured. We need to treat him." The mysterious figure who saved Rin enters and tells Yukio, "Why are you out here? I had to handle the situation for you." Rin asks, "Isn't that Yamada?" The figure replies, "I got tired of that disguise," and removes their cloak, shocking everyone. They say, "The Vatican sent me to investigate estimate risk factors in the Japan branch. I am Kirigakure Shura, a high-ranking inspector and one of the top first-class exorcists. Anyway, I will take this boy to the Japanese branch office, and I want to speak to the branch chief here, Mephisto. Bring him, even if by force. She grabs Rin and says, "Get up, I have a lot of questions for you." Shuremi tells her, "Rin is injured. Can you wait until we treat him?" Shura replies, "He'll be fine. Stay out of trouble, little girl." She takes Rin to the base, where Mephisto welcomes them and says to Shura, "I didn't expect a high-ranking inspector like you to sneak into the preparatory school." She tells him, "Give me a direct answer. Why did you hide Satan's son?" He replies, "I didn't hide him. It was for the organization's benefit. I was taming him so he could be used as a weapon for the organization. For the past 2,000 years, we have been in a defensive position. Now it's time to take the offensive." She tells him, "That's not an answer. Why didn't you send a report to the Vatican?" He says, "His power isn't complete, as you can see, and the Grigori wouldn't be satisfied with something incomplete, right?" She tells him, "I'll ask you another question. Does this have anything to do with Fujimoto Shiro?" He says, "He was raising him until his power grew, and I was only observing." She says, "I see. Anyway, I'll send a report about this, but before that, I will interrogate him using the Grand Key." He tells her, "Do as you wish." Yukio tells Shura, "Wait, you won't gain anything from interrogating him. I will explain everything to you." But she ignores him and takes Rin away. She takes him to a room and locks the door. He asks her, "Do you know Yukio and my father?" She replies, "Yes, I was a trainee under Fujimoto Shiro. I grew up in a place beyond reason, and Fujimoto saved me from surviving in that place." She suddenly collapses in pain, and Rin asks, "Are you okay?" She tricks him, grabs his sword, and says, "Is this thing so cheap that you'd let just anyone take it from you?" He tells her, "No way." He ignites his blue flames and attacks her. She thinks to herself, the sword is still in its scabbard. That means the Demon Slayer sword can't fully suppress his power. She remembers when she was holding a picture of Rin and Yukio and told Fujimoto, "You want me to take that four-eyed kid as my student?" He told her, "No, the other one, because you know how to wield demon swords." She draws her sword, and Rin asks her, "Why is one of my father's trainees pointing a sword at me?" She tells him, "The Vatican told me there's a possibility that Fujimoto Shiro and Mephistopheles are hiding something related to Satan. Investigate the matter, and if you happen to find it, you have the right to eliminate it upon identification. I considered your blue flames to be the thing related to Satan, so I will follow orders and kill you." She uses a wind technique with her sword and launches it at Rin. At the same time, Shura's attack hits Rin, knocking him to the ground. She kicks him and says, "You made a big mistake, Shiro. This kid can't even scratch Satan." Rin yells, "You're wrong. He died protecting me, and he was never a coward." He reignites his flames and engages in a fight with her, but can't land a hit, while she keeps striking him with wind techniques. She thinks to herself, "This kid is so reckless. He makes a lot of unnecessary movements and doesn't know proper combat techniques." She then uses a void technique, summoning snakes that attack Rin, suppressing his flames. She stabs him in the shoulder and says, "Die quietly." He grabs the sword and tells her, "I can't die here. I swore at his grave that I would become a great exorcist like him and destroy Satan." She laughs, pulls out the sword, and opens the door. She thinks to herself, "Shiro, you weren't raising a weapon. You were raising a son." After that, Rin goes to Yukio to have his wounds treated. Shura enters and hands Rin a wooden sword. He asks her, "What about my sword?" She tells him, "I'll take care of it. If you keep it, a Maimon will come to play with you again. If you want it back, you'll have to get stronger and defeat me." That night, Shura tells Mephisto, "I'll delay sending the report to the Vatican and continue monitoring Rin. You need to find me work in Japan." She stands up, and before leaving, she asks Mephisto, "What are you planning?" He replies, "What I want is for peace to prevail among humans and in Asaya. I left Gehenna and came here to accomplish that goal." She tells him, "Don't forget that you're a demon, and the higher-ups don't trust you because of that." Then, she leaves him. At the same time, Rin sits alone on a rooftop when Kuro approaches him and asks, "What are you doing up this early?" Rin replies, "I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about my father." He remembers when he was a child in school, standing angrily while the teacher told him, "Calm down, please," but he screamed at her, "Shut up, don't come near me." His father stopped him and asked, "Do you realize what you've done? You hit your classmates, and they're suffering in the hospital now." Rin replied, "They weren't my friends. It's their fault for calling me a demon and mocking me." His father told him, "It's your fault because you're too violent." Rin got furious and threw a chair at him. Shiro hugged him, and Rin hit him hard, but Shiro pretended it didn't hurt and laughed. He hugged Rin and told him, "If you keep acting like this, you'll end up alone. Use your strength for something else. I want you to become become a great young man with many friends who love him. Rin asked him, how can I become that person? Shiro told him, struggle. If you put effort into helping people, one day you'll become like that. Suddenly, Shiro fainted from Rin's blows, and the ambulance took him away. Rin panicked and called out to him, but Shiro told him, don't worry, a little punch like yours won't kill me. Rin replied, but I broke some of your ribs. Shiro said, I let you break them on purpose to match the situation. The nurses will check them. The next day, Rin enters the classroom and is shocked to find that Shura has replaced Tsubaki as the teacher. At the start of the summer break, Yukio tells the students, you are ex-wires, and you must go to a 3-day training camp. Shura and I will take care of you. This camp is also a test to determine if you are ready to participate in missions. When they arrive at the forest, Yukio tells them, this forest is peaceful during the day, but at night, it's full of weak demons, so we need to take necessary precautions before that happens. At night, Yukio tells them, I'll explain what you need to do now. You must light the hidden lanterns scattered around the forest. They are spread over a 500-meter radius around the camp, and whoever manages to retrieve a lit lantern without it going out within 3 days will receive a permit to participate in missions. But there are only 3 lanterns, meaning only 3 permits. Before they start, Shura tells Rin, don't ignite your flames, and don't forget that I'm a high-ranking inspector. If anyone discovers that you possess Satan's power, I'll have to report it to the higher-ups, and then the knights, the paladins, and everyone who hates demons will kill you. If you understand, use your head in combat. Yukio gives the signal to start, and they all rush into the forest, each one alone. They encounter many demonic insects chasing them. Recalling Yukio's words, the forest is full of weak demons, and I believe you can defeat them at your current level. If you're in danger, use the anti-demon fireworks, and Shura and I will come to help. Kamiki asks, why does each of us only have one matchstick? Yukio replies, if you use the matchstick to light the fireworks, you won't be able to light the lantern, so think carefully before using it. Kamiki uses summoning techniques to get rid of the demonic insects. Kanekamaru recites the deadly chant, as does Suguro, successfully eliminating the insects. Shiremi asks her demon to give her something to repel the insects, but suddenly, one of them cuts her summoning paper, making her demon disappear. A massive insect appears behind her. Rin hears her scream from afar and rushes toward the sound. He finds the insects swarming around Shiremi, who has fainted. He gets furious, ignites his flames, and burns the insects. Then, he remembers that he must not use Satan's power, so he tries to stop himself. He attempts to wake Shiremi up when Suguro enters and asks, what happened here? Rin panics and wonders if he saw anything. Suguro asks, is Moriyama okay? Rin replies, yeah. Shiremi wakes up and cries over her demon. Suguro tells her, if you draw a magic circle, you'll be able to summon it again. Suddenly, Shima attacks them. Rin blocks the hit and Suguro grabs him. Shima asks, didn't you say no one would help each other? Suguro replies, you did the same thing. They receive a message from Kanekamaru saying, I found one of the lanterns, and it's difficult to get them individually, so we need to work together. At the same time, Yukio asks Shura, what are you planning? You haven't reported to the Vatican and are staying here without doing anything. She replies, I'm assessing the situation and decided to teach him about swords. He asks, why? She says, Rin told me he wants to be a paladin, and I like to support kids with high ambitions. Meanwhile, Rin and the others reach the lantern, and Rin tells Kanekamaru, you're right, it's hard to move it individually. It's huge. Suguro tells them, that's a moving lantern. It waits for someone to ignite it at night, then starts moving, attacking any living creature and using them as fuel. It's a demon, so it stops moving at dawn or when its fire goes out. Kanekamaru tells them, when I saw it, I realized we misunderstood the task. Suguro replies, yeah, this exercise requires teamwork. Shima tells him, I remember you said something about not helping others. Suguro says, I said that because he mentioned there are only 3 lanterns. Kanekamaru tells him, but he didn't say the lanterns were only for 3 people. He tells them, I came up with a way for all 5 of us to carry it. We'll seal it so it won't move when we light it. Suguro will recite the chant. We'll gather some demonic insects to feed the lantern so the fire won't go out. Shima and I will protect you from the insects, and Rin will pull the cart. At the same time, someone sets off fireworks. Yukio says, someone gave up this quickly? He heads off to check. Rin and the others reach a broken bridge with a swarm of demonic insects below. Suguro recites the chant and writes on paper, "I have an idea. We'll let the lantern cross by itself." He draws the plan. Rin reads it. "Kanekamaru and I will take the cart to the other side. This insect swarm isn't deep, so you can walk over it. Then I'll prepare the seal." Suguro will remove the seal from the lantern to free it, and Shima and Moriyama will run to the other side quickly. The lantern will chase them, and once it crosses, we'll seal it again. Shima gets scared and switches roles with Rin. They start the plan and successfully cross. Suddenly, a demonic butterfly appears and grabs Rin. He tells them, "I'm fine. I'll deal with it and catch up with you." Suguro tells him, "Idiot. Of course, we'll help you." He tells Shima, "Get the staff," then throws a sealing paper and the staff, hitting the demon's head, sealing it and freeing Rin. They escape. Suguro tells Rin, "Stop doing things alone. Don't forget that you're not alone." Kanekamaru tells him, "Suguro is right. You won't be able to defeat Satan alone." Shima tells him, "I'll help you, even though I'm not very useful." Shiremi tells him, "We're here for you, Rin." Rin thinks to himself, what would they do if they found out I'm Satan's son? They return to Shura and are surprised to see Kamiki and Takara there. Suguro says, "You're here." She replies, "I had my followers handle the task, and Takara was here before me." Shiremi suddenly feels pain in her neck. Shura asks them, "None of you gave up, so who set off the fireworks?" Suddenly, a Maimon descends from the sky with a demon and orders it to attack. Shura whistles, turning the fire into a serpent, and activates the magic circle, sending a Maimon and his demon flying. Mephisto tells a Maimon, "I told you this wouldn't be easy." A Maimon replies, "I want to kill her." Mephisto tells him, "No, if you try to kill anyone, I will kill you." At the same time, Shura tells the students, "The exercise is over. Now we prepare to defeat a Maimon." Kamiki asks her, "A Maimon, the king of earth, one of the 8 knights of hell?" Shura replies, "Yes, and he's very strong, so you Xyers won't even be able to scratch him. I'll sprinkle you with 3rd-level anti-demon water as a precaution." Meanwhile, Yukio is fighting the demonic insects when a giant butterfly appears before him. Yukio thinks to himself, what's happening here? The insects in this forest were supposed to be restrained by the tamers. Suddenly, Shiremi starts moving unconsciously, walking out of the circle. Shura chases after her to stop her and notices a parasite on her neck. A Maimon appears and grabs her. Shura holds Rin back as a Maimon says, "I only had one of the insects lay its egg on her, but it took time for it to hatch and connect to her nerves." He takes her and leaves. Rin chases after him, but a Maimon's demon appears and attacks him. Shura leaps at it, knocking it away from Rin, and tells him, "Go, I'll follow you." She tells the others, "Don't move from inside the circle no matter what." A Maimon provokes Rin by threatening to bite Shiremi. Rin leaps at him and strikes with his sword without drawing it. A Maimon sends him flying and says, "Don't be so full of yourself. Why didn't you draw the sword?" At the same time, Suguro gets furious, and Shima stops him from leaving the circle. Suguro says, "I haven't felt this much anger in a long time." He pushes Shima away and leaves, followed by Shima and Kanekamaru. Meanwhile, a Maimon tells Rin, "That girl is precious to you, right? Why aren't you fighting seriously? I don't think you need her, so I'll take her eyes as a souvenir." Suddenly, someone fires fireworks at him. He looks and sees Suguro, who says to Rin, "Why did you leave us and walk away? We're joining you." Kanekamaru fires fireworks, but a Maimon grows a plant from his head, blocking the attack. Shima mocks him sarcastically, angering a Maimon, who kicks him hard, knocking him out. He breaks Kanekamaru's arm and strangles Suguro. Rin gets furious, stands up, and grabs his sword. Yukio appears and tells him, "It's a trap, don't fall for it." Rin draws the sword. A Maimon is thrilled, lets go of the others, and attacks Rin. They engage in a fierce battle. Everyone is shocked, and Kanekamaru says, "What happened to Rin?" Suguro replies, "That's a demon sword." Rin strikes a Maimon with his sword, but a Maimon grabs him by the tail. Rin manages to break free. Meanwhile, Yukio removes the parasite from Shimi's neck. Rin continues his fight with a Maimon until he lands a powerful blow. A Maimon thinks to himself, "This power, it's like my father's." Rin sends him flying into a tree. Mephisto tells a Maimon, "Your time is up," then opens a portal to pull him in. Rin shatters the portal, completely losing control, and his sword is on the verge of breaking. A Maimon falls to the ground, and Rin attacks Mephisto, but Mephisto dodges, causing Rin to fall into the forest. He strikes a rock, and the impact bounces back, sending him flying. Shiremi runs toward him but hesitates to get closer. Yukio and Shura stand in front of her to protect her, but she runs to Rin, hugs him, and tells him, "Don't be afraid, everything will be okay." Rin calms down, his flames extinguish, and he loses consciousness. A strange figure appears on the rooftop and says, "Blue, just like the Blue Knight." He looks looks at them and says, "Good morning. I am Arthur Auguste Angel, a first-class exorcist from the Vatican headquarters." Shura tells them, he's the new paladin who was recently appointed. Arthur tells her, "And your superior, Shura, needs an explanation. Weren't you supposed to investigate and report?" She replies, "You have other spies, don't you?" He says, "Yes, but you have a more important mission. If you find anything related to Satan, you must eliminate it. And those flames you saw, don't you consider them something related to Satan?" Mephisto enters and says, "Your conclusions never fail to impress me." Arthur replies, "Have you finally decided to reveal your true intentions? Even the Grigori Council is aware of your betrayal, and this incident is the proof." Mephisto tells him, "You can rest assured, I haven't revealed my true intentions yet, and you're insulting a respectable man." Arthur draws his sword, unsheathes it, and declares, "By order of the Grigori from the Supreme Court." He lunges at Rin, grabs him, and says, "I will erase the progeny of Satan." Shura attacks him, but he disappears and reappears further away. She performs a summoning technique on her sword and charges at him, but he vanishes again and appears behind her, grabbing her hand and placing his sword at her throat. He asks her, "Are you on Mephisto's side?" She replies, "Of course not." He then asks, "Do you want to fulfill Fujimoto's wish? Would you do this for the man who was the worst paladin ever?" She replies, "Of course not." He tells her, "The Grigori's orders are absolute." He speaks into his earpiece, saying, "Understood." Then he turns to Mephisto and says, "New orders. They've decided to summon you to trial." He adds, "Shura, you will come as a witness, and of course, Satan's son as well." Yukio tells him, "I will go too." Mephisto tells him, "You are a teacher and still have duties, and this sword can no longer suppress Rin's power." He hands him the sword and leaves. The trial begins, and the judge states, "The person conducting this interrogation is me, Timothy Timuan, Chief of Law Enforcement in the organization." Mephisto, "I'll ask you directly, is this demon Satan's son?" Mephisto replies, "Yes." Meanwhile, Yukio is at the hospital, telling the students, Rin was born from Satan and a human woman 15 years ago, and he possesses Satan's blue flames. Kanekamaru asks, "You're his twin brother, right?" Yukio replies, "Yes, but I don't have those flames. I was examined daily. I'm just a normal human." At the same time, one of the judges asks Mephisto, "Are you saying that the report we received, claiming that Satan's son, born from Yuri Egan, was killed by the Demon Slayer sword by Fujimoto Shiro, was a lie?" Mephisto replies, "Yes, one of the twins did not possess Satan's power, and the one who does is standing before you now. I sealed his demonic power in the sword." Meanwhile, Yukio tells them, 3 months ago, the Demon Slayer sword could no longer contain his power, and at that time, he didn't know anything about it. Shiremi asks, "What will happen to Rin?" Yukio replies, "The court might order his execution. If he gives in to his flames, he will fully transform into a demon, and if that happens, they won't allow him to live. I don't want him to suffer more, and he's no longer just a human now because his sword has cracked." Suguro is shocked and asks, "How did the Kurikara sword crack?" Yukio is surprised and asks, "How do you know its name?" "I only mentioned the Demon Slayer." Suguro replies, "That sword was a relic of our school." Shima asks Suguro, "Should we take it to Yochini?" Yukio asks them, "Who is Yochini?" Suguro replies, "It's the place where the Kurikara was made." Shiremi asks, "Can they repair it there?" He replies, "I don't know." Kanekamaru tells them, "I can't believe you're even considering this. Aren't you scared? You're actually going to repair the sword? Is this really necessary? He is Satan's son." Yukio stands up and says, "I understand how you feel, but I'm begging you, if there's a way to save my brother, please." Meanwhile, the judge asks Mephisto, "What is your goal? And why did Fujimoto raise him in secret?" Mephisto replies, "To turn him into a weapon against Satan." Everyone is shocked, and Arthur says, "That's nonsense. Don't listen to this fraud." At the same time, Yukio uses his key to take them to the city where Yochini is, and Suguro leads them there. Meanwhile, one of the counselors states, "It is true that demons are our current enemies, but the fact remains that long ago, we learned wisdom and confrontation from them." Another counselor responds, "Regardless, we have not yet cleared Mephisto of the charge of treason." Another counselor adds, "However, Lord Mephisto has been a great asset to the organization. Over the past 200 years, he has earned a significant amount of trust." Meanwhile, Suguro tells them, "This is Yochini, the heir of the one who forged the Kurikara." She examines the sword and tells them, "It won't be easy, but I think it can be repaired." They set out to retrieve the demonic metal the sword was made from at their school. At the same time, a loud destruction noise is heard at the court. It's a Maimon, making making his way inside with a horde of demons. Arthur and Shura rush to stop him. A counselor asks Mephisto, "Is this your doing?" Mephisto replies, "Impossible. I wouldn't resort to such means. But more importantly, why don't we take advantage of this great opportunity and witness the power of Satan's son?" At the same time, Yoshini is repairing the Kurakara. Rin stirs, and the judge tells Mephisto, "He's about to move? That's impossible. Do something, Mephisto." Mephisto replies, "I'm just a useless defendant. How can I intervene while I'm being interrogated? It's not difficult. Just let me release Satan's son and turn him into a weapon for the Vatican." Meanwhile, the soldiers protect the court and slay the demons accompanying Amaimon, but their bullets have no effect on Amaimon. Arthur appears in front of him, with Shura behind him. She slays the demon Amaimon was standing on, enraging him. He transforms into a massive rock monster and approaches Rin but finds a barrier around him. He smashes the ground, causing the crystal encasing Rin to fall and shatter. The counselor tells Mephisto, "Stop that demon by any means necessary." Suddenly, Suguro rushes in, carrying the sword, and calls out to Rin, "Wake up!" Amaimon attacks him, so he throws the sword to Shima. Shima tosses it to Kamiki, and Amaimon lunges at her. She hurls it to Yukio, who places it on Rin and says, "Wake up, please." Rin's blue flames ignite. He senses the sword, gets up, and as Amaimon attacks him, he draws the sword and shatters it. He leaps onto Amaimon's rocky arm, stabs him, burns him, and then collapses again. Arthur places his sword at Rin's throat, but the counselors tell him, "Don't kill him. We will accept Mephisto's words. He will either become Asaya's savior or the king of demons who brings destruction. We will see for ourselves." Arthur removes his sword from Rin's throat. The next day, Rin goes to class and finds his friends removing the tar. He tells Kanekamaru, "I'll help you," but Kanekamaru replies, "No, I can handle it alone." Kamiki tells Rin, "He's afraid of you because you're Satan's son, the one who killed many exorcists in a single night." Rin gets angry and punches the wall so hard that a swarm of tar falls from the ceiling onto Shiremi. Rin quickly ignites his flames and burns them. Shiremi notices that his flames don't harm her. Suguro grabs Rin and shouts, "Are you trying to burn her to death? My father, Shima's brother, and Kanekamaru's parents were all killed by Satan with these same flames 16 years ago when he slaughtered many exorcists. I don't care about the Vatican's decision, but we can never be your friends. If you ever kill someone close to me, I'll kill you without hesitation." Rin tells him, "I'm different from Satan, trust me." Yukio enters and says, "That's enough. Rin will undergo special training today, so he's coming with me." Yukio takes Rin to the training hall and tells him, "Your license exam will be in 6 months. If you fail," Rin replies, "I know, I'll be executed." Yukio tells him, "You asked Suguro to trust you earlier, right?" Rin replies, "Yes." Yukio says, "You'll earn their trust by showing what you can do, but right now you can't do anything." Shura enters and tells Rin, "The four-eyed guy is right. If you can't control the enormous energy you were born with, you won't become a paladin or even an exorcist." She gives him 3 candles and says, "Place them in a row and try to light the 2 on the edges at the same time." He tries but ends up lighting all of them. He keeps trying but fails repeatedly. She tells him, "Do this 3 times a day for an hour until you can light them correctly." He asks her, "Won't I use my sword?" She tells him, "Do you know why you lost control in your fight with Amaimon? It's because you were afraid and your flames took over. Trust yourself and try to control your flames. After that, you'll start sword training." Meanwhile, Suguro is in his room memorizing chants when Kanekamaru enters and tells him, "Try not to overwork yourself too much." Suguro replies, "I want to win." Kanekamaru tells him, "You're already a winner. You're the best at potions and incantations." Suguro replies, "What's the point of gaining knowledge if I can't use it in battle?" Kanekamaru goes up to the rooftop alone and says, "It's hard for me to do all this." He hears a strange voice asking him, "Are you afraid? You're going to lose someone dear to you again, so accept it." At the same time, Rin is in the school hallway trying to light the candles correctly when Kamiki enters and asks, "What kind of training is this?" He explains it to her, and she tells him, "Do you remember when the ghoul attacked Paku? Back then, my familiars turned against me because of the turmoil in my heart. I think your flames are similar to that." Suddenly, someone throws a weapon at Rin, and he deflects it. They look down the hallway and see red eyes staring at them. The demon bird attacks Rin, but he blocks the strike. The demon bird tells him, "I must erase you from this this world, and fires a feather at him. Rin deflects it, but the bird lunges at him. Kamiki summons the foxes, but the bird uses wind, tearing the summoning papers apart. Rin is sent flying and crashes through the classroom door. Before he can draw his sword, the bird grabs him. Yukio appears and shoots at it, causing the bird to flee through the window. Suguro, Shima, and Shiremi enter and find Rin and Kamiki cleaning up the mess. Mephisto walks in and tells them, I have summoned every exorcist in this place. We are in a situation where we need all the help we can get. Yukio tells them, a demon has infiltrated the academy. Its name is Gohan. Mephisto says, there are two possibilities. Either my barriers have a weakness or someone inside the academy summoned it. I need you all to inspect every barrier. He then grabs Rin and tells him, you will stay here and continue your training. Meanwhile, the demon returns Kanekamaru to the rooftop. Kanekamaru is in severe pain from the bullets that hit him. The demon tells him, if you accept me, no bullet will ever harm you. Why do you reject me? You won't have to fear Satan's son if I'm with you. Kanekamaru replies, I will never kill Rin. The demon vanishes and tells him, admit it, accept the darkness in your heart. I will help you whenever you need. At the same time, Rin tries to convince Yukio to join him in hunting the demon, but Yukio refuses and suddenly feels pain, so he walks away. Later, Kanekamaru enters, and Rin sees the demon on his shoulder. Meanwhile, Yukio is in the bathroom, noticing strange marks on his body. He quickly gets dressed before anyone can see. Suguro and Shima enter and tell him, the barriers in the west and at the front gate are intact. Suddenly, they hear a scream and run toward it. They see Kanekamaru running and yelling, Rin attacked me out of nowhere. Rin steps out and tells Suguro, stay away from him. He's dangerous. Suguro yells back, you idiot. Who's the dangerous one here? The demon appears again on Kanekamaru's shoulder. Rin attacks, but Suguro stops him. Yukio aims his gun at Rin and tells him, step away from Suguro. Rin shouts, who are you pointing your gun at? Aim it at Kanekamaru. The demon appears again, and only Rin can see it. He fires his flames, and Suguro quickly pulls Kanekamaru away. Yukio grabs Rin and yells, what are you doing? Have you forgotten? If you lose control again, they'll kill you. Suguro punches Rin and tells him, if you harm anyone close to me, I'll kill you. Rin shouts, who are you even looking at? That's a demon. Suguro replies, those flames can kill people? Why don't you understand? Get out of here. Rin turns and walks away. Meanwhile, Shura and Tsubaki find a glowing green carriage. Shura steps inside and finds herself in a snow-filled place. Tsubaki tells her, this must be a portal opened by a key. If the door closes, we won't be able to return. She tells him, stay here and keep it open. She leaves while Nigaus watches them from the rooftop. Shura explores and finds an abandoned and strange-looking building. That night, Kanekamaru wakes up and Suguro asks him, where have you been? I haven't seen you all day. Kanekamaru remembers what happened but tells him, I don't remember. Suguro leaves. Kanekamaru looks at the burn mark on his shirt and asks, what happened to my shirt? Suguro replies, don't worry about it. I'll just buy another one, and walks away. The demon appears and tells Kanekamaru, see, this happened because you didn't listen to me. Rin is dangerous. He will repeat the tragedy of the Blue Knight. You don't want to lose your friends, right? Accept me, and we will defeat Satan's son. The demon takes over Kanekamaru, and he flies out of the window. He goes to Rin, who is sleeping on the rooftop, and drags him to the ground. Yukio appears and aims his gun at the demon, but the demon creates an air barrier around itself. It tells them, I was born to kill Satan's son, and delivers a powerful strike at Rin. Yukio fires, but the bullets don't reach due to the air barrier. The demon grabs Rin's head. Suguro desperately tries to snap Kanekamaru out of it. Rin ignites his flames and breaks free, yelling, Kanekamaru, why are you doing this? You should have asked for help from Suguro, Shima, and the others. Kanekamaru thinks to himself, what am I doing? If I kill him, I won't get my parents back. He loses consciousness, and the demon flies off with him. Rin draws his sword and shouts, Kanekamaru, trust me. He jumps, grabs him, slashes the demon with his sword, and burns it. Kanekamaru bursts into tears and tells Rin, I'm sorry. The next day, Yukio examines himself and drops some of his blood into test tubes. In one of the tubes, a blue spark appears. Rin and Yukio go to their father's castle and find a strange web surrounding Kyoto, Nagatomo, and Maryuta. Many doctors are there examining them. One of the doctors tells them, please step back. They're still breathing, and we'll explain the situation later. Yukio notices writing on the wall. The doctor tells them, it's in Polish. It says, I won't forgive Satan's kin. He continues, when we arrived, one of the victims was barely able to speak and said, the masked man. Another doctor says, this web is created by magic. It completely covered their bodies and turned them to stone. Yukio asks, will they be okay? they? The doctor replies, a thin protective layer surrounds their bodies. They must have cast a protective spell on themselves when they were attacked, but its effect is wearing off. They have 8 hours left. Rin leaves and enters one of the hallways when the masked man suddenly drops down on him. Rin dodges and asks, who are you? The masked man tells him, you must know this feeling, losing the people close to you. Rin raises his sword, but the masked man shoots his strange web at him, knocking the sword out of his hand. He places his staff on Rin's neck and says, I won't kill you that easily. I'll make you enjoy the suffering I endured. Yukio appears, but the masked man creates a barrier to stop him from passing through. He then escapes. Shura stops Rin from chasing after him, but Yukio ignores them and goes after him. He follows him to the old clock tower, climbs the stairs, and finds Nigaus at the top. Yukio remembers when Nigaus told him that all demons and those connected to them must die. Yukio asks, are you still trying? Were you the one who attacked the castle? Nigaus replies, what are you talking about? Yukio tells him, don't pretend to be ignorant. The thread on your shoulder is the same magic thread that filled the castle. Nigaus replies, you're mistaken. Your logic isn't even worth analyzing. This is just a normal spider web found anywhere. Yukio says, I'm tired of your excuses. The message on the wall was in my mother's language, and only a few people know that my brother and I have demonic blood. Nigaus tells him, as long as your assumptions cloud your vision, you will never find the truth. Yukio tells him, you're coming with me to the academy, and then we'll hear the truth. Nigaus asks, and if I refuse? Suddenly, one of the gears falls and Nigaus escapes. That night, Yukio tells Shura what happened. She tells him, the other side of the gate was opened with a key. She deduces that Nigaus might have been the one who opened it. She then tells Yukio, corpses linked to humans and animals are sometimes used in artificial life research or as canibarios. Yukio replies, this must be connected to Nigaus. Rin moves toward the door, but Yukio blocks his way and asks, where are you going? Rin replies, I'm going to stop him. Yukio asks, and how do you plan to fight him when you can't even draw your sword? I'll go after him and request support from the other teachers. Rin tells him, I don't want anyone else to get hurt because of me. Yukio replies, you're not going anywhere tonight. If you think you can handle everything your way, you're wrong. He points his gun at Rin. Rin asks, what are you doing? Yukio says, are you thinking of attacking me again with your demonic power? Rin tries to escape through the window, but Yukio shoots him with a tranquilizer, knocking him out. Shura tells Yukio, you're overdoing it. He replies, I have to protect my brother, then leaves. Yukio takes instructor Tsubaki and 2 others with him and heads to Nigaus' location. As they search for him, Yukio senses movement, points his gun at Nigaus, and tells him, raise your hands. Nigaus lifts his hand and cuts himself, summoning demonic hands before escaping. Yukio chases after him, but then hears a scream and runs back, finding instructor Hinokoa wrapped in the web. Tsubaki's phone rings, and he tells Yukio, we found his location. He went to the academy dormitory. At the same time, the masked man wraps Kanekamaru in his web. Suguro tries to hit him with a chair, but the masked man grabs it. Shima attempts to attack him, but is thrown aside along with Suguro. Suguro punches him, but the masked man traps him in his web. Yukio and Tsubaki arrive. The officer tells them, the masked man demanded that no one enter if they want the hostages alive, except for Satan's son. Mephisto appears and says, he's very bold to attack my academy. I'll make him regret it. He draws a fire circle in the sky, but suddenly, someone extinguishes it. He looks and sees Arthur, who tells him, don't play with fire at night. Mephisto asks, explain what you just did. Arthur replies, the Vatican issued a warrant. There is suspicion that you are involved in prohibited artificial life research. You can explain yourself in the Vatican's prison. He orders his men to take him, but they fail to restrain him. Mephisto tells them, I won't run or hide. He thinks to himself, why did you come at this specific moment? Yukio enters the building and finds the masked man holding Suguro, Shima, and Kanekamaru captive. The masked man says, I will kill Satan's son. He takes Shima's phone and calls Rin, telling him, I am the masked man, and I won't kill your friends until you arrive. Yukio throws a grenade and shoots at him, but the masked man traps him in his web. He tells Yukio, you're his brother. I told you I would kill them if anyone but Satan's son entered. This is your punishment for disobeying orders. He moves closer to them when suddenly, Rin jumps in through the window and clashes with him. Shura places her sword at the masked man's neck, and a group of soldiers enters, aiming their weapons at him. The masked man tells them, do you think you've won? His spiders release their web, restraining everyone. Rin ignites his flames and frees himself from the web. Yukio yells, no, don't use your flames again, but Rin uses them and directs them toward Shima. Shima panics, but Rin controls his flames and frees everyone. everyone. He draws his sword and sends the masked man flying out the window. Shura follows after him, and his mask shatters, revealing that he is a woman. She tries to escape, but Nigaus intercepts Shura and runs. Shura uses wind, knocks him to the ground, restrains him and tells him, "You used that demon to kill Rin." Nigaus replies, "She is my wife." Shura tells him, "You need to explain everything." The next day, Shiremi leaves her mother's shop and finds Nigao's wife unconscious in the garden. At the same time, Yukio goes to meet a mysterious man who tells him, "You look a lot like your mother, Yuri." Yukio is surprised and asks, "Yuri?" The man asks, "Fujimoto never told you anything about her?" Yukio replies, "No." The man tells him, "This photo is all that remains of Yuri. Fujimoto made Mephisto your guardian, but he's detained now. That's why I decided to take responsibility for you as your grandfather." Yukio asks, "Where have you been all this time?" His grandfather replies, "I was imprisoned all this time. I lost everything in the Blue Night disaster 15 years ago. My status, my honor, my face, and even my daughter, Yuri." Yukio asks, "Did she die? Did Satan kill her?" His grandfather replies, "No, not Satan. The Vatican killed her. They imprisoned me on the Blue Night. Out of everyone, Yuri was the one who bore Satan's children. So the Grigori burned her, claimed she was a witch, and imprisoned me as the father of a witch. When I lost my will to live, my only hope was this, the photo that Fujimoto gave me. I want to hold the children Yuri gave her life for. But back then, if the Vatican had found out, they wouldn't have turned a blind eye to you too. But the threat of the Grigori is gone now, and I can be with you from now on." Yukio asks, "Why are you telling me all this alone?" His grandfather replies, "Unfortunately, the arrangements to take Rin aren't ready yet because his power has awakened." Yukio asks, "Take him where?" His grandfather replies, "To the Dragon Laboratory. It's a facility for creating anti-demon weapons. The organization has become a puppet of Mephisto, and they can no longer protect Asaya. Join me, Yukio, for the sake of peace and the future of humanity, and let's begin a new era." Meanwhile, Shura and an exorcist interrogate Nigaus. The exorcist tells him, "It's clear that this web originates from Gehenna. Are you saying your wife is possessed by a demon?" Nigaus replies, "No." Rin enters and asks him, "Didn't you tell us that your family was killed by Satan? How is your wife still alive?" Nigaus replies, "It's true that I froze my wife's corpse and kept it, but I don't know how she came back to life. One day, when I returned to the lab, the capsule where I had preserved her body was open. I searched for Michelle and found her alive. That's when I realized a demon had possessed her. But I couldn't let her suffer death again. When the exorcists accused me and burned the lab, I escaped to Japan with Michelle using the keys. But since then, Michelle started to change. I believe she remembered being burned to death by the blue flames and decided to kill anyone related to Satan. I tried to bring her back to her senses, but you know the rest." Rin leaves to find her, and Shura hands him a seal to place on her to bring her back. Shiremi calls Rin and tells him, "I need to talk to you about something important." Rin replies, "I'm coming." At the same time, Michelle wakes up in Shimi's garden, and Shiremi tells her, "You collapsed in front of my house." Rin enters, draws his sword, and tells Shiremi, "Step away from her." Michelle grabs a pair of scissors and holds them to Shimi's neck, saying, "I didn't know you were Satan's son." Rin tells her, "Shiremi has nothing to do with this." Michelle replies, "I told you, this is revenge. I will never forgive you. Just as Satan took everything from me, I will take everything you cherish." Suddenly, she collapses. Rin pulls Shiremi away, but she pushes him back and says, "She's injured. I have to treat her." Rin tells her, "There's no point. She's already dead. Step away, Shiremi." She replies, "No, she's not a bad person." Rin sheathes his sword and says, "I'll make a call." He steps outside and calls Shura, telling her Michelle's location. She replies, "I'll bring Nigaus and come." Suddenly, Arthur appears with a squad of soldiers. They move in to take Shiremi and Michelle. Arthur steps on Rin's head, pinning him to the ground. He points his sword at Michelle, but Nigaus throws his sword in front of him and says, "I will take full responsibility for her sins, so please spare her." Arthur kicks him away and says, "Impossible." He begins chanting a spell and brings his sword down on Michelle, but Rin intervenes and blocks it. He clashes with Arthur, and Michelle is shocked that Satan's son is fighting for her. Rin leaps to attack Arthur, but Shura stops him. Rin gets angry and attacks Shura. Suddenly, Michelle shields Rin from a bullet fired by one of the soldiers. Nigaus picks up Michelle and carries her away. The soldiers take aim, but Shimi's familiars surround them with plants to protect them. Suddenly, they all hear the sound of summoning bells from the Vatican. The next day, Rin goes to school and finds all the students standing outside. He asks them, "What's going on?" Kamiki tells him, all the Vatican leaders have been replaced, and a new leader has been appointed for the organization. At the same time, a meeting is held with all the teachers, where it is announced that Yukio has been appointed as the new head of the Japan branch, replacing Mephisto. Yukio tells them, "I'm not just the branch chief, I have been promoted to the rank of paladin, so please cooperate with me." Rin is shocked that Yukio was promoted to paladin before him. Yukio appears, and Rin tells him, "At least you could have told me." Yukio replies, "The only reason I was appointed as a paladin is to execute the Vatican's plan." He then shows Rin a video of the new leaders meeting, revealing that their grandfather is the new head of the organization. Their grandfather declares, "For a long time, we have lived in fear of demons, but that ends today. As the head of the organization, I, Ernest, order all exorcists to begin Operation Jacob's Ladder." Yukio tells Rin, "I am responsible for executing this plan, and I have a meeting now." At the same time, Suguro and the others go to retrieve their weapons and then head out to fight demons. Yukio goes to his grandfather to deliver a report and tells him, "Demons have been exterminated in many areas, but we are facing resistance in other regions." His grandfather replies, "Tell the exorcists that we are at war, and our dreams will not be realized without sacrifices." He leaves, and Yukio recalls when his grandfather told him, "The Kurakara sealed Rin's blue flames in Gehenna, and the worlds of Asaya and Gehenna are two sides of the same mirror. If we destroy Gehenna completely, all demonic powers will disappear, and Rin will return to being a normal human. You too, Yukio. Don't think I don't know the secret you're trying to hide. We need a lot of demonic blood to open the gate of Gehenna." That night, Yukio's phone rings, and he orders Virginian to take Rin to the Vatican headquarters. Shura waits for Yukio at the door, pulls up his sleeve, and sees the marks of a demon. She asks him, "Since when? You said the tests didn't show any results." Yukio replies, "This doesn't concern you. If the plan succeeds, we will be saved, so don't stand in my way, because I have the authority to imprison you." He leaves. At sunrise, Suguro calls Yoshini on the phone. She tells him, "The weapons you're using are demonic weapons that absorb blood." He asks, "Why are they making us use weapons like this?" She replies, "I don't know, but try to minimize their use as much as possible." At the same time, Rin wakes up and finds himself in a cell. He sees Mephisto in the cell across from him. Rin tells him what happened and asks, "Why are you imprisoned?" Mephisto replies, 500 years ago, I was conducting artificial life research. When the Vatican banned the continuation of the research, I left the laboratory to my students, and they continued it after me. Nigaus was one of my students." Rin says, "Wait, Nigaus said someone resurrected his wife." Mephisto replies, "That was probably a trap set by someone who doesn't like me." He then transforms into a dog, slips through the bars, and escapes. The head of the organization enters and tells Rin, "I can see an even stronger resemblance between you and Yuri." At the same time, at school, Suguro is furious and tells Tsubaki, "Why are they executing Rin?" Tsubaki replies, "They were supposed to wait for the results of the invocation authorization test. The headquarters is in complete chaos, and we are waiting for Yukio's orders." Shiremi asks, "Where is Rin now?" Tsubaki replies, "I heard that the execution will take place at the top of the academy." At sunset, Rin is dragged to the execution platform. Tsubaki and the others arrive and find Arthur standing at the entrance. He tells them, "No one will pass here alive." At the same time, Ernest begins the execution. The exorcists chant an incantation, and the blood from the demonic weapons spills onto the ground. Ernest takes Rin's sword and plunges it into the ground, causing Rin to writhe in pain. At the same time, Arthur defeats Tsubaki and tells Suguro, "Go back." He attacks Kamiki, but Shura appears and blocks his sword. Arthur asks her, "Are you siding with demons?" She replies, "No, I just don't like the way you handle things." She continues to fight him while the others rush to the execution site. At the same time, Yukio tells Ernest, "What are you doing to my brother?" Ernest replies, "I'm sacrificing him to open the gate of Gehenna." Yukio shouts, "This isn't what we agreed on. You promised me you'd turn him back into a human." Ernest replies, "Rin is a human sacrifice. History will forever remember him as the hero who destroyed Gehenna." Rin writhes in pain, blood dripping from his mouth. Yukio tells Ernest, "Even if you use all of Rin's blood, it won't be enough to open the gate." Ernest replies, "You're right if he were just an ordinary human, but excessive blood loss won't affect him thanks to his demonic regenerative power." Yukio points his gun at him, but Ernest tells him, "There's no point in shooting me. The aircraft carrying the missile has already taken off from the Dragon Laboratory and will soon pass over the academy. The aircraft only takes orders from me, and if we don't open the gate of Gehenna, the missile will hit the academy." Yukio tells him, "Take me instead. I'll open the gate of Gehenna, so let my brother go." Ernest replies, "No problem." They lower Rin, and Yukio steps forward, slashing his own arm. His blood spills onto the ground and ignites in blue flames, causing some exorcists to catch fire as well. The gate of Gehenna opens, the aircraft arrives, and it drops the missile into the gate, causing a massive explosion. However, it vanishes, and suddenly, a swarm of locusts appears, possessing stingers like scorpions. Yukio suddenly hears a voice in his head saying, "Ernest failed," as if he could scratch Gehenna with such a small spark. Yukio wonders, could this be my father's voice? The voice replies, "Yes, I am Satan, your father." Yukio gets enraged and shouts, "Shut up! If you hadn't involved Asaya, my father wouldn't have died, and you wouldn't have killed my mother." Satan tells him, "You're wrong. I didn't kill her. He did." Yukio looks at Ernest, who is sinking into the gate of Gehenna, as Satan says, "Don't pretend you don't understand the situation. Let me show you everything through my eyes." The past unfolds, showing Yuri playing with demons while Fujimoto tells her, "We're going back to the Vatican." She replies, "I'm not going back to the Vatican. I'm staying in my home." He asks her, "Do you know what people call you?" "The witch of the forest, the woman corrupted by demons. You're supposed to be an exorcist. You can't befriend demons." She gets angry and tells him, "They are my friends," before leaving. The next day, Ernest tells Fujimoto, "No one from our family should be associated with demons, so use any means necessary." Fujimoto returns and starts shooting the demons. Yuri tries to stop him, but he pushes her aside. She gets enraged, and blue flames ignite around her. That night, she wakes up from unconsciousness, and Fujimoto asks her, "Since when has that been in Asaya?" She replies, "For a year. I was sent to this area to investigate cases of human combustion, and the soldiers with me died on the way. Then my body caught fire, but I was somehow able to withstand the flames. The organization ordered my return, but I stayed in the forest. I wanted to speak with the blue flames again, so I went to the forest. A wolf engulfed in flames stands before her and tells her, 'Do you know who I am? Get away from here, or I'll kill you too.' She replies, 'That means you wanted me to survive unlike them.' The wolf bites her leg, and she tells it, 'I heard your voice back then. You must feel lonely. No matter how much you love something, when you touch it, it turns to ash in your hands. If you truly feel that way, then use my body.' Fujimoto asks her, 'You let Satan use your body?' She replies, 'Yes, and he was happy about it.' She recalls finding a dead bird in the forest, and Satan asked her, 'What does dead mean?' She replied, 'When life perishes.' He asked her, 'What is life?' She told him, 'Everything in this world lives. Every insect, flower, bird, and human, they all possess life.' He told her, 'I want to live.' She replied, 'You can't buy or give life, but you can create it.' Fujimoto interrupts, 'Don't tell me that.' She replies, 'Yes, his children are growing inside me.' Later, Fujimoto is imprisoned, and a superior exorcist tells him, 'Unfortunately, you're just like the others, consumed by your desires, but she is the president's daughter.' Meanwhile, Yuri tells Ernest that the children she carries are the offspring of a demon. Ernest orders the doctor, 'Perform an abortion immediately.' The doctor replies, 'The Vatican has forbidden that.' Yuri tells them, 'No, I will give birth to them. They are our children, and I will give them life and raise them.' During her trial, she is asked, 'Is it true that the children in your womb are the offspring of a demon?' She replies, 'Yes, and I am not wrong. Demons may deceive and frighten humans, but that only shows their curiosity. We must learn how to love each other.' The entire court mocks her. Ernest, acting as the judge, sentences her to execution. Satan tells Yukio, 'To save Yuri, I searched for a vessel to contain me, but my power was too great, and no body was strong enough to withstand my presence, until I entered Ernest's body, freed Yuri, and told her to run.' At the same time, Mephisto frees Fujimoto, tells him what happened, and says, 'You're the only exorcist who can still work with the Vatican.' They encounter Ernest as they leave the prison, and he tells them Yuri has escaped. 'Go kill her and the children.' Mephisto hands Fujimoto the Kurikara and tells him, 'This is the only thing that can kill demons.' They go to the forest and find that Yuri has given birth to the twins. She tells Fujimoto their names and says, 'They will prove that demons and humans can understand each other.' She then dies. Mephisto asks Fujimoto, 'What will you do? The Vatican ordered you to kill her and the children, and she has died without any effort on your part.' Fujimoto replies, 'They will suffer in life with these demonic powers.' He draws his sword but hesitates when he hears Rin's laughter. He then tells Mephisto, 'I will raise them as human children.' Mephisto tells him, 'I'll do you a favor. I sealed their demonic power in this sword. Now I have to tell the Vatican that we disposed of them.' Satan tells Yukio, 'This is the whole truth. If you think I'm lying, you can ask that old man drowning over there.' Yukio grabs Ernest by his clothes and yells, 'Answer me, did you order my mother's death?' mouth. Ernest replies, yes, I was the one who gave the order. Yukio, enraged, pulls him harder, but Ernest's clothes rip and he falls into the gate. Yukio loses control and Satan possesses him, saying, I have finally found the perfect vessel, and you, too, are of my blood, so it feels as though every part of you is already a part of me. Rin wakes up and runs toward Yukio, shouting, why are there blue flames around you? Aren't I the only one with Satan's power? Satan gets irritated and yells, shut up. Rin remembers Satan's scream and asks, are you Satan? Satan replies, yes, took you long enough to figure it out, while your father had already started feeling lonely. Rin asks, why did you possess Yukio's body? Satan replies, because he was ready to be my vessel. Both of you carry my blood, and your bodies are suitable to be my host, so I've been watching you and waiting for you to grow. Rin lunges at him, shouting, get out of my brother's body. Satan dodges, knocks Rin away and tells him, listen to people until they finish talking. For the past 15 years, I have dreamed of creating a new world by uniting Asaya and Gehenna. Now, I have obtained the perfect vessel to move freely, and those fools have opened a massive gate of Gehenna for me. This is a great opportunity to fulfill my dream. He points the gun at Rin and says, but I wouldn't enjoy it if I destroyed the gate now, so do me a favor and die. Suguro steps in and says, fight me before you shoot him. Kanekamaru tells him, that's Satan. You can't possibly fight him. Suguro replies, we won't know until we try. Satan gets annoyed, pushes Tsubaki aside, and unleashes flames at Suguro, who gets burned. Kamiki extinguishes the fire and saves him, while Kanekamaru and Shima create a barrier and tell the others to escape. However, Suguro grabs his staff and throws it at Satan. Satan yells in frustration, don't underestimate me. The barrier shatters, and everyone collapses unconscious. Satan looks down at them and says, you're just insects. I'll burn you all to ashes. Shura appears, extinguishes the fire, and tells Shiremi, take them somewhere safe. The green man flies them away. Satan looks at Shura and says, what do you want, beautiful girl? Shura replies, you've changed a lot since turning into a demon, four-eyed one. Rin tells her, that's not Yukio, that's Satan. Satan launches fireballs at her. Shura dodges and attacks, but he drives his hand through her chest, only to realize it's just a decoy. Shura escapes with Rin and Shiremi. That night, Rin explains Satan's goal to Shura. Kamiki tells them, it's dangerous here. We need to leave. Shura reassures her, don't worry. Satan can't stray far from the gate because he needs it for his plan. Rin destroyed a gate of Gehenna before when he tried to save Shiro, so Satan is being cautious this time. That gives us the advantage. Even Satan can't block everything if we attack from all sides at once. Rin asks, and Yukio? Shura replies, Satan isn't an enemy we can defeat with just our power. First, we need to destroy the gate of Gehenna and stop the demon invasion. Rin asks, are you telling me to abandon Yukio? She replies, I want to save him too, but it's impossible to free someone once Satan has possessed them. Rin tells her, you're wrong. My father returned to his senses in his final moment. That means Yukio's soul is still inside. If I call him, he'll respond. I trust him. He starts walking away, and Shura runs after him to stop him. Suguro tries to follow but can't. Kamiki tells him, we can't go there. If we do, we'll just be a burden. Tsubaki agrees, saying, Kamiki is right. There are many people in the city who need your help. He hands them keys and Suguro takes them. Meanwhile, Shura tells Rin, I'll help you save him, and explains a plan to defeat Satan. At the same time, the city is in chaos, with terrified people running from demons. Shura reaches Satan and calls out to Yukio, how long are you going to let Satan control you? Wake up! Satan laughs and tells her, he's just a vessel now. Scream all you want. She dodges his attacks, trying to lure him away from the gate, but he overpowers her. Suddenly, Shiremi appears and begs, Satan, please stop. Yukio wouldn't do something this terrible. Yukio is someone dear to me. Give him back. Satan lunges at her, but the green man shields her. Satan then grabs her by the throat, strangling her. Rin emerges from hiding and stops him just in time. Satan smirks and says, since there's no one here to interrupt, let's have some fun. He throws Rin his sword and says, I won't fight my brother. Yukio, you're there, right? Wake up. Satan punches Rin, but he keeps saying, Yukio, it's me, Rin. Wake up. Satan replies, it's useless. He belongs to me. He beats Rin until blood spills from his mouth. Still, Rin persists, Yukio, you can hear me, right? Inside, Yukio hears Rin's voice and opens his eyes, seeing Rin through Satan's vision. However, he is confronted by hatred, manifesting as human figures pulling him down and reminding him of everything he resented about Rin. But he fights back, trying to regain control, and reaches for Rin's hand. Suddenly, Satan fires a bullet at Rin, making him fall to the ground. Yukio screams as Satan aims the gun again, about to fire another shot at Rin. But Yukio resists, shouting, "No, only you and I will die." He points the gun at his own head. Satan asks, "You want to kill yourself just to stop me again?" Yukio replies, "I swore to protect my brother." Rin gets up and punches him, shouting, "What do you think you're doing? Do you think you can defeat Satan by killing yourself? Do you even understand the pain of the people you'd leave behind? I don't want to feel that pain again." Yukio starts crying, and the flames dissipate. Rin hugs him, but suddenly, Satan laughs and tells them, "I never thought you could defeat me. I'm surprised. But as you know, my dream isn't complete yet." Suddenly, the gate rises into the sky, releasing even more demons. Yukio starts shooting at the demons while Rin fights alongside him, though he feels pain from his injuries. Shiremi wakes up, but suddenly, two demons attack her. Arthur appears, protecting her, and joins the battle against the demons as they all try to reach the gate to destroy it. Shura also joins them, and they all fight their way through. Rin reaches the gate and sets it ablaze, but the flames have no effect. Satan then releases a massive surge of energy toward them. At the same time, Suguro and the others are in the shelter, protecting the civilians. The demons break through the walls and enter, so they stand in their way while helping the people escape. Meanwhile, Rin and Yukio get back up and see that the gate has moved to the city, causing destruction. Kuro appears and transforms, allowing them to ride on his back as they rush toward the gate. The city is in complete chaos, with exorcists fighting the demons in an attempt to fend them off. At the same time, the instructor tells Suguro and the others, "Hold out until dawn." Kanekamaru asks him, "The Japan branch is connected to the Vatican, right?" The instructor replies, "Yes." Kanekamaru says, "The time difference between here and there is 7 hours. We can open a gate using the magic keys, and it's still daytime there." They do exactly that, arriving at the Vatican where the sun is shining. Kanekamaru says, "Now, all that's left is to lure the demons here." Suguro responds, "No, I have a better idea." Meanwhile, the gate releases a huge amount of energy, and even more demons flood into the city. Kuro tries to dodge them as Rin and Yukio continue fighting while getting closer to the gate. At the same time, Suguro tells the others, "We'll direct sunlight to the Japan branch. That way, we won't have to bring the demons here, and we won't cause any trouble for the Vatican." They gather a large number of mirrors and reflect the sunlight onto the Japan gate, opening it. The demons start to disintegrate. The demons in front of Rin and Yukio also weaken. Rin sees the opportunity and says, "This is our chance." They charge toward the gate, but suddenly, a demon attacks, knocking them off Kuro. Yukio grabs the sword, draws it, and he and Rin both transform into demons. They reach for each other's hands, forming a fiery bird that allows them to fly. They dive toward the gate with the sword and pierce through it. Satan, in shock, says, "Why are my children destroying the dream that Yuri and I shared?" They respond, "We don't care about your dream. We will protect the people we love and this world." The gate is destroyed. Rin and Yukio return to their friends. Shiremi, in tears, says, "Don't scare me like that again," before hugging them. A month later, Mephisto returns to the academy, and classes resume as usual. Yukio loses his paladin status, returning to his original rank. Yukio opens a magic door with Rin, and they find themselves in a strange place. However, Yukio recognizes it as the place he saw in Satan's memories. They find the demons that were their mother's friends. Yukio takes Rin to the spot where their mother gave birth to them and finds her grave. Yukio asks Rin, "Was it really right for us to be born in this world? If they hadn't done this for us, our father and mother would still be alive, and the people around us wouldn't have been hurt." Rin tells him, "Are you stupid? We were born because that old man and our mother sacrificed themselves. You should appreciate the life they gave us." Yukio nods and says, "You're right, they were amazing, weren't they?" Rin replies, "Of course." Later, Yukio and the other instructors are on a mission to exorcise a demon that possesses vehicles. They wait, prepared for it to appear. Suddenly, Rin and Kuro emerge from the darkness. Yukio gets irritated and says, "Exwires aren't allowed to join this mission." Rin grins and replies, "No problem, I'm just lending my brother a hand." The demon appears, possessing a motorcycle. Rin draws his sword and destroys it, but the demon then takes control of a massive truck and charges toward them.